The Ultimate Pickleball League, the UPL. This is the Ultimate Pickleball League podcast, a gateway to this incredible league, hosted by Mickle Moore. Discover the stories, travel inside with the amazing people that make it all work. Sit back, grab some popcorn. Welcome to the Ultimate Pickleball League. Welcome to this episode of the Ultimate Pickle Pod. Got to shorten it from Ultimate Pickleball League Podcast. That's a lot to say. I am super excited. I am here with LA Heat owner, let me pause myself, El Paso Shootout gold medal winner, LA Heat owner, Ayumi, say it one more time with me, Izuka. Iizuka. And well, I realized I didn't know your last name. We were just talking about that. I only knew you as Ayumi, and it kind of like Cher or Madonna, right? Just one name, right? And then you pull off with the gold medal. And how are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you doing?
I am super good. Happy to be here with you and relive a little bit of the weekend that we had in El Paso, relive a little bit of the run that your team went on. But before we do, what I really want to know is, when did the pickleball fever happen for you? How long have you been playing pickleball? How long have you had a little bit of a love for pickleball? And then we'll really get this thing going.
Okay, I was introduced to pickleball in the early 90s, I think. But I was a tennis player back then. I was like, oh, no, thank you. And so I didn't even try it. I was on a court and I'm like, no, I'll just hit balls with my tennis racket here. And then cut to 2019, and I was trying to get back into tennis, and my tennis coach was like, oh, you really should try pickleball. And I thought, here we go again. You're just suggesting this because I'm just an older lady who wants to play, a sport. So I said, look, let me just get my forehand back, and then I'll consider it. And sure enough, a few lessons, he put a paddle in my hand, and I was instantly hooked. And I just felt like such an idiot that I'd wasted over 30 years of my life that I could have been playing. So now I'm feverishly trying to catch up.
Right. Awesome. Okay. And so now we fast forward a little bit, playing pickleball. Why UPL? What was the decision to get involved with this league, own a team, LA Heat, love the name, love the colors, looking sharp. Talk a little bit about that. And
Yeah, it was. I met Charles actually at the Senior Pro Combine last year, and we met each other because we were both ambassadors for Brioti Eyewear, and so. I reached out to him and he was really friendly. We were warming up on court. These other guys tried to kick me off, even though I'd started the court. And Charles was like, no, she's staying. You guys can go find another court. And I thought, I like this guy. And we sort of instantly became friends. And then he reached out to me a few months later saying, hey, I have this thing I want to try. And then he flew me and a bunch of others out to Nebraska, where we tried. I played for the Phoenix Aces. And we played a bunch of teams out there and tried out this new format. Really, really fun. So I knew very little about it at that point, but as it progressed and developed into something, he just sort of kept saying, "This is where it's going." And then he invited me to get a team, and it was too hard to pass up because the format's just so fun. And I really love Charles and the people that I met on the Phoenix Aces team, which now most of us have teams ourselves. So it's really cool to play in El Paso and get to see my former teammates and now their fellow owners. So it's just the camaraderie and just the excitement of playing on a team sport again, which is what I did most of my life. It's just such a thrill.
I think that's what's exciting for everyone who's involved or going to be getting involved with this league. And you mentioned it, second exhibition, players having so much fun, that team atmosphere. And we're really just getting started as we look ahead to the league. And let's go back, though, because you made a decision to have a team, the LA Heat, and you've got to build that team. Describe that process. And I know you've got some help, but it's never easy when you've got a lot of people who love the idea of playing team pickleball. And also, Ayumi, love the idea of being able to compete at maybe not the highest level, but certainly a very high competitive level, and in a season that's going to give them an opportunity So you mentioned it, continue to build this team chemistry and experience this camaraderie that is infectious when you're adding.
Yeah. I would say that I'm really lucky. I have an incredible team manager who I just have to show you how adorable this is. She gave this to me. It's a little flame, a
Oh my
little LA
gosh,
Heat.
that
Um,
is so
and
cool.
it's her attention to detail, her passion for the sport, and she's just so caring and empathetic and thoughtful, and so she's thinking about problems before they even arise. So she's just been this amazing right hand person for me to help support me as we go through. And then Mark Hamilton, who is acting captain, coach, cheerleader support. He's just got this very cool, calm, and wit about him that just sort of keeps things light, but also he's got enough wisdom and cool that sort of keeps me level. So having those two surrounding me and keeping me sort of supported in this has really, really helped. And then early on, I had somebody that I was helping coach. He's helped me sort of get all the paperwork going because that, for me, paperwork is a nightmare. And so helping me get that stuff sorted away quickly helped. And then in terms of my website and everything like that, I have another pickleball friend, writing partner who just helped me with a lot of the design and website elements and just sort of being a great ear to hear me out and sort of work through concerns. And so thank you, Candace. So yeah,
Yeah, no,
having a great sort of management team, support team, friendship team has been incredible.
always, it takes a village in anything that we try to do, and certainly as you look across the landscape of the UPL as it sits right now, we're in for a big season. We've got a lot of teams that are going to be competing all across the country. There's a few right in your own backyard, and certainly you got to play against a few down there in El Paso. Talk to me about that. I remember when I talked to you, undefeated, and took home the big prize. Where is that thing? Why isn't it? Why weren't we wearing the medal?
I didn't, I was first looking for my back support so I could wear it just to sort of make sure that I had the proper support to wear that beautiful medal. I was actually, I meant to get it and then I forgot to get it, but yes, it's gorgeous. It's on, I have a tree that my husband built and it looks like almost like a dream catcher, but I have all
Okay,
my medals sort of hung on that. So it's
awesome.
already hung up on that.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. So now I've already forgotten what the question is because
Because as soon as you start thinking about that medal, we
what's that
just,
medal?
well, just a little bit of your experience at the event from the owner perspective. You got to play out there on the court a little bit. But as you told me, hey, it's great to be able to sit back, let the team carry themselves and bring home a victory.
Yeah, well, as it turned out, we only had seven of our players, so that meant we only had one sub. So I did actually get to play quite a bit, which was great, and then also a lot of pressure too because I don't want to be like, "Oh, I really want to play this game," but then if, especially on the sudden death matches, but I also wanted to feel like part of it. So we sort of strategically figured out which games I would play and which games I would sit out. And so that relieves pressure because while I'm also focused on playing, I am also concerned about, making sure everyone's got their flights, making sure everyone's fed, setting up the Ubers and the lifts. And, that morning of the finals, the Sunday, that started off sort of crazy. I don't know if you heard. So we were staying in a hotel. We decided to sleep in a little bit, and I was going to order two Ubers to take us a little bit later than the bus. I didn't know that the bus was actually leaving later. That was interesting. So
None of us did.
anyway, I ordered them so that my team could have a little bit more rest. And at 5 in the morning, I think it was, I just heard an altercation outside my door, right next door, and it turned
No.
into this sort of big argument. So I called the front desk, asked them to come up. She said she's coming up. She didn't come up. Eventually, the guy got into the room and just started beating her up, and it was terrifying. So I was like, that's
Oh my
how I started
gosh.
my
And you
morning.
could hear
I called
this?
back, told them to call the police. It was right next to my room. It was right next door. So I had to move. I was trying to move away from the wall because I thought I don't know, I don't want bullets to come through the wall. I don't know what's going to happen. So I knew that there's nothing that I could do other than calling for help because what am I going to
Wow.
do? Try to stop a guy? So that woke me at 5 and rattled me. And I sort of waited in my room until I felt like the coast was clear, but it's very dramatic. And then there was silence, which was very eerie too. So then when I went back down to the front desk, she said, oh, yeah, it's a bit of a domestic situation, but police came, but she went with him. So I was sort of already rattled and out of my head. Our Ubers came early. Most of my team was there. I had thought I had counted everyone, but I was quite sleep deprived at this point. I'd only had a few hours of sleep. Got everyone quickly because they said, if you're not in their Uber, we're going to leave without you. Got into our Ubers, driving to the venue, and I texted Michelle, the manager, saying, hey, do you have Mark with you, who is our captain? She's like, no, I don't have him either. So in all of the snafu and like the sleep deprivation and being rushed to these Ubers, we forgot him. I forgot. I will take full responsibility. I forgot the captain. Fortunately, another one of our players was staying with his mom, and they happened to be in the lobby, and they got him a ride. I was ready to call a third Uber to take him, but that'll teach him to not be late anymore. Good
That's right.
morning. To be on time. So that's right. We mean it. When we say we're leaving at 6:45, we mean we are leaving at 6:45.
We're all grown-ups now. When we
We
say we
are.
are going, get in the car.
We are going. And then, so then we had the great day of winning and winning and winning, and then we were off to go celebrate. So I called two Ubers again, one Uber, one Lyft.
I think I heard about this.
Yes. Oh, you were probably in the bus. So one of them comes and we have all of our suitcases. And so she's like, oh, yeah, no, I don't have room in the back of mine. I have a baby seat and all this. So we're like, okay. And then the other car, we thought, okay, well, if we put one of the team players in the front seat and we should have enough room. She would not let any of our players sit in her front seat. So she, as soon as we got the luggage in the back seat and the door was closed, she took off with our bags. And fortunately, the bus was there. So I quickly called Charles. I said, hey, please stop the bus. And this woman's trying to take off with our luggage. And so the bus was stopped. She was blocked from exiting. Charles came out and I tried to calmly talk to her. My players were just livid because, and one of them sprinted, opened up her car door, sat in it. And she's like, and there was just a lot of swearing back and forth. And then she was just trying to make up a story that when she heard the trunk slam that she thought that the ride was canceled. But we're like, but all of our bags were in the back. She said, I didn't know the bags were in the back. So she's making all this up. So we got our bags out. She took off, called another Uber. So an hour later, I was finally able to leave. It was crazy. Took another half hour before another ride could come. So it was exhausting. And then at the airport on the way home,
No.
I was happy to bring home the Gravity Force, which awesome product. So I bought a container of it, and somehow it triggered an alarm, and then everything was looked through. Everything had to be, all of my bags had to be gone through. I had to be patted down. It was a little embarrassing, and I told my manager, I said, please just get the team to the gate. I'm okay here. And she's like, I'm not leaving without you. I said, no problem. If you want to stay here, fine, but can you just get the team to, they don't have to be watching me go through everything got checked out. Just for the record, I'm clear. The Gravity Force product was cleared. I was able to get everything out. So there was a lot of drama outside the main drama of the exciting pickleball thing. And it just sort of reminds me like, oh, wow, it not only is there a lot of energy and adrenaline in the sport, there can be a lot just getting there and leaving.
All part of being an owner of a team, right? Not just the scheduling, the logistics, and when you're there, what might happen in the hotel. Holy cow. I mean, we talked about how we like true crime. You're in an episode of it, for crying out loud.
I know it was awful.
And then, of course, I mean, where we are or were geographically could have led to some of the having to go through everything meticulously, let's just say. But glad you made it back. And so, with the gold medal, too, you know,
Yes,
champions
yes.
so far. LA Heat, before we even get to the season, have a whole documentary already written from one exhibition.
Well, even just, the excitement of drafting the team. So, because I was the first team in this region, um, I was sort of figuring things out as I went along. So, I thought, definitely having other teams in different regions sort of helped. And of course, Charles' guidance of like how he was doing things. So, I tried to emulate a lot of what they were doing in terms of the tryouts and things like that. So, had our first tryout, had a bunch of people, then had sort of callback tryouts and just trying to organize people and there are so many amazing players. So sadly, you can't take them all. But then there's that whole piece of trying to figure out not only do you want the best players, but you also have to sort of figure out pod A, B, and C because there are restrictions to who can play in what pod. So sometimes you might have four incredible people, but they just, because of the makeup of your team, you don't need someone at that high a level, or you don't want someone that is that developmental. You want a nice balance of all three. So that was really interesting too. And then after our tryouts, two more teams sprouted out from players who came to our tryouts. So it's great. It's given us a chance to have people around to take some of these excellent players that we weren't able to take, and
Yeah.
then now we have great competition just in our backyard, which is fantastic. And then it keeps LA Heat on their toes too, and keeps us excited and motivated to keep getting better, because without that kind of competition, it's not going to be exciting for our team.
Right, and that's what it's all about. And perfect segue, because I was going to ask you, since El Paso, with the team, how have they been playing together? Have you found opportunities to scrimmage? I know a lot of the teams here in the desert region, like you said, we've got a few teams. Some happened right out of the get-go. Some have formed since there was such great turnout at the tryouts. New owners, easy to build their teams, hard selections. But I love to hear that there's that competition already fostering up. I'm sure the players are having some fun. Little rivalries get created.
Well, so far we have kept our practices fairly internal, just because one of our sponsors, Pickleball Athletic Club, thank you very much, PAC, we have limited number of courts that we can play on. So to scrimmage with other teams, it would be more difficult, more challenging. And we're not quite at that point yet. I think we have that exhibition coming at the end of the month, so we'll get to play with them then. And because everyone knows each other anyway, a lot of our team players have played against the other team players. So we haven't done anything official, but we are actually going to try to align ourselves more with the LA Extreme, which is the CSP, formerly NPL Senior Pro Team,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the LA Mad Drops. So we're kind
Okay.
of this beautiful sort of like stepping stone of, UPL to MLP to CSP, and having the LA brand for all three teams, finding
Love it.
ways to work in all three together. So
Cool.
yeah, so that's what we're going to be looking forward to, because we'll have great challenging games without, I think in the season, because with our region we'll get to see each other quite a bit during the season. So getting games with other teams that will give us great challenges, but we aren't going to see them all the time in the regular league, I think has sort of been my idea about how we can keep advancing.
I know. Short time until the season actually starts, the official schedule out. And I mean, that's got to be exciting. I know the players are. And so we hit on building the team, but let's talk about that. This season, I think what's unique with UPL, you mentioned a few times format, so I'll let you talk about that,
Yeah.
but also that you have teams in your region so that, versus having to go to El Paso or even coming over to Phoenix, you're able to play more locally and battle it out to, of course, then get out of the region, hopefully advancing into the playoffs. But let's talk about the season ahead and just give me your thoughts on what it's going to take just to sustain through this year.
I think we're just gonna figure it out as we go along. We have regular practices scheduled. Once we have the full picture in terms of locations of tournaments, figuring out how our players are going to sort of pan out, because I don't think everyone's going to be available for every tournament. So just making sure we have coverage for the whole season, and then yeah, having more exhibition matches. Like I know Charles was talking about, perhaps maybe I don't know if I'm spilling the beans here, but another location where we can all go and play. Having those kinds of invitationals, I think, will be really fun, just to keep people interested and excited, especially if we. I'm not sure how the season will be in terms of how many times we're playing each of our regional teams, or if we're going to be stepping out of our region a little bit, maybe having some crossover with the Northwest or the desert region, because we're so
Right.
close.
And that could be good too. And I mean, I think some crossovers always healthy as the league continues to find its way. This is just the inaugural first season, and that leads me to wanting to get some of your thoughts on sustainability of a league. There are already some great partners that we have with the league, and we've got great players. And certainly players, and having great players, being able to continue to have players, because part of this league, and you mentioned kind of that move up from UPL all the way maybe up to MLB, can be developmental. You mentioned the structure in UPL, and if you want to take this and go ahead and tell a little more for the people from that owner perspective and how you have to set up your team, folks, there's three pods that you have to fill, and each of those pods, ABC, on purpose, are at a little bit of a different level. And then I know what you really love is the doubles dream maker. We have a singles dream breaker, but talk about that. You saw it in action and how important that is to continue to attract people to this league.
Yeah, it's a really fun format because again, you see Pot A, which is the top tier. These are people who are often playing in the PPA qualifiers and getting, through qualifiers and getting in through first or second round. So the level of play can be quite high and super impressive. Pod B, you have those people as well. A lot of them, they're also doing it, maybe not getting as deep into the bracket. And then you have the highest level, sort of amateur level players who are on their way there, and I feel like this is a great way of getting sustained action at that high level. Great opportunity for those developmental players to really get in games and be surrounded around players who are really really good. Like I feel very grateful to be surrounded by such excellent players and just learning from them every practice and watching the way they played. They're cool, their decision making, their shot selection was really eye opening, just getting to watch it at just such a close level and then sort of being behind the scenes and hearing their strategies and talking about how we were going to set things up. So I really love that. And yeah, in terms of the format of the league, the pod A, B, and C. So you have six players, pod A, two in pod A, two in B, two in C, and you can have to have minimum one woman in that whole group of six. You can have all six be women, but you have to have a minimum of one. So matching those players up against the other six. After those three matches, we go into the doubles, Dream Breaker or Team Breaker. I'm not sure.
Dream Maker,
Is it Dream Maker, doubles Dream Maker, and singles Dream Maker? So
Dream
yeah, so
Breaker.
Dream Breaker. Okay, so then we line up our six, and you just rotate every point. Two people play, one person rotates out after the point. That other player shifts right, and we just keep or left. You enter right, exit left. So you do that until one team gets to 21, and it's all rally scoring with a freeze at 20.
So
Super
fun.
fun format. The
So
hardest part is
fun.
just remembering the score. So, all weekend I had a clipboard and was tally scoring everything just to make sure because even the other teams were like, what's the score? Because you get so involved in the points, it's so easy to forget
Yeah.
because even though you might not have won the point, that means the other team won a point. So there's
Right.
always a point at stake.
And the
So
moving
that was
on
really
and the moving off in the doubles format, I think makes it so fun because it's a point every time. It's a point every time. And you might come on and serve because it's on the odd side. You might come on and not serve. And then you might it's super
And then
fun. And it's
we're also stacking too sometimes, depending on how our lineup is. So trying to figure out, okay, I'm stacked here, I'm here, and so it's going to definitely get easier as the season progresses. And even after that weekend, it was becoming smoother in terms of figuring out, oh, I'm with this person, so I always have to stack so that I'm on the right side, or this guy's a lefty, I'm going to stack left. So figuring that stuff out and just keeping track of making sure that you're not playing more than 2 points, 1 point with that partner, one point with a new partner, then getting off. And then with the singles Dream Breaker, it's you're playing 2 points only. So rotating in, facing off. Sorry, what are you going to say?
I said just two, as opposed to you mentioned, some of these players play, PPA, or if you play in MLP style tournaments and you do a Dream Breaker, you go out for four
Yeah.
in most cases. But
Yeah.
we're just doing two and moving people off. So it's really quick.
I love it because I clearly am not so far I'm not much of a singles player, but I have, in those 2 points, you just leave it all on the court because it's just
Yes.
2 points. So if it means your lungs are fried after 2 points, well, then that's what it's going to have to be because you don't have to save yourself. You just go all out for those 2 points. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you see some incredible points in those 2 points. You see long rallies, you see amazing shots because just like you said, you leave it right on the court. We need these points. We got to get them right now. This is the final match of the series, the final game of the series.
Yeah. Yeah. And depending on, if the team is lined up, I was lined up against a tall man in one of my singles Dream Breakers. And I was like, and I was still able to get some points off him. So that to me was a win, not exactly.
No, it is a win. You should feel good about that. And just like you mentioned, there might be teams in some tournaments or in some matches have a few ladies out there. We know we've got some teams down in Florida that are all ladies, and it's great. And that's where that leads me to ask you. I know how important it is to Charles, and I think it's important to us all. And we want to see the league continue to grow. We've got some international expansion plans. How important is that to you and to be a part of a league that wants to grow pickleball, not only here, but elsewhere also?
I think I think it's fantastic, obviously, as somebody who is so invested in the sport. I think the more we can get people playing, the better, really. And I love the whole foundation, the giving back portion of not only are we growing the competitive part of it, but also going to places like the Philippines to build courts and teach them how to play pickleball. And that's sort of the UPL's way of giving back. I feel like that is such a strong sell, so that it's not just about taking. I just love this giving back to people who don't have what we have here and introducing them to something wonderful.
Absolutely. Well said. And I think as we look forward in trying to sustain a league past year one and beyond, these sorts of initiatives are going to attract even more great partners, especially as we go through in this first year, small steps initially leading to bigger strides, continuing to grow this, because at its core, we want to grow the game of pickleball. We want more people to be able to play this great game of pickleball.
Absolutely.
And if they get really good, they have an opportunity to progress through these awesome leagues, maybe to the top tiers of the sport. We know it's possible.
Yeah.
Just threw my notebook everywhere.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think that it's so cool that Charles and Ken found a section of the community that needed to be addressed. These people who are sort of in between high level amateur to pro and bridging that gap and filling the need where there was one.
Absolutely. And it's attracting great players. I think we're going to be here for a long time. Now, as you look ahead to the start of the season, do you want to make any predictions for the Heat? Only 2 teams can come out of your region, which looks pretty strong. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of those other teams out there firsthand at the end of the month. You mentioned we're going to have a little 4-team exhibition upcoming, which should be a lot of fun, a chance to play more teams. Do you dare predict anything, or are you just going to let the team come out and show their game on the court?
I predict that the LA Heat are going to be amazing because they have been so far. There's no signs of it slowing down. So that's my prediction for
Hot,
that.
hot, hot from the LA Heat. I love it. Hey, I mean,
That's
you already came out and won one tournament. Why not just get ready to keep moving forward with winning ways? You got to stay confident. You got to keep that team confidence, and especially when you have to get out there on the court. I saw you play. Now, I mean, let's give a few more. I mean, she got her points. She can move, folks. Don't kid yourself.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This has been another ultimate episode of the Ultimate Pickleball League podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Nickel Moore. Follow all things Ultimate on our website, ultimatepickleballleague.com, on YouTube at the Ultimate Pickleball League podcast. Stay safe out there. Stay hydrated. Be ultimate.